Hello, students, and welcome to Mr. Lunsford's American Government class. Now, before we begin, I would like all of you to take out something that you usually use to take notes with. Now, if all you guys have your notes out, we can begin. So today, we are going to discuss the Bill of Rights, which are the first 10 amendments of the United States Constitution. So the first question you can ask yourself, what are the Bill of Rights? Well, as I just said, they are the first 10 amendments of the United States Constitution. They are also the foundation for America's new federal government, which are the executive, legislative, and judicial branches. Now, something different between the Bill of Rights and the United States Constitution is that the United States Constitution was ratified first. It was actually ratified in September of 1787, while the Bill of Rights was not founded until December 15th, 1791, a couple years later. On the bottom, we see a painting of all the delegates and the founding fathers in Philadelphia going to sign the Constitution. Now, I will break all the amendments down for you so all of them make sense. Starting off, we have the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So what to take away from the First Amendment is freedom of religion, of speech, of press, of assembly, and grievances. And what grievances mean is that you as a person have the right to complain and or protest about something if you think it's wrong. Moving on to the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. What that means is you have the right to own a gun. Simple. Now, this is a gun that was most likely used during the Revolutionary War and then on years later. Moving on to the Third Amendment. No soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner prescribed by law. So what was happening before the Revolutionary War is that British soldiers were allowed to stay in colonist houses without the colonist permission, and the colonists had to pay for it. Well, the Founding Fathers did not agree with that statement from the British government. So what they chose to do is that they made an amendment saying that British soldiers were no longer allowed to impose themselves onto colonists and have them pay for it. Now, interesting thing about the Third Amendment is that they are not actually in many court cases. The last time the Third Amendment was ever used in a court case was in 1982. And here at the bottom of the screen, we have a little cartoon. Soldier guy says, "I will need a place to stay tonight." He also says, "Hello, good citizen. I'm going to stay with you for tonight." The person who owns the private property says, "First off, thank you for your service, Mr. Soldier, but I do not have to house you. Just read the Third Amendment." Fourth Amendment states, "The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized." So, most important thing is there are no illegal searches and seizures. Can happen. Now, the only way for a legal search and seizure is that law enforcement officers are required to either have probable cause or have a legally specified warrant. And here we have a little cartoon showing a police officer with the warrant and handcuffs. Moving on to the Fifth Amendment. Now, there is a lot in this amendment, but I'll explain all of it so all of you guys can understand. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land of or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Now, that's a lot, but let me break it down for you. So on the screen, I put a picture of a hand in my presentation. What the hand means is that each finger represents a part of the Fifth Amendment. 5 fingers, 5 parts of the Fifth Amendment. Part 1 is you have the right to a grand jury. Part 2 is no double jeopardy. Part 3, you have the right to protect yourself against self-incrimination. Part 4, you have the right to due process. And Part 5, be compensated for any taken private property. Now, let me go through all that one more time. Part 1, right to grand jury. Part 2, no double jeopardy. Part 3, protect yourself against self-incrimination. Part 4, right to due process. And Part 5 is you have the right to be compensated for any private property that is taken away from you. Now on to the Sixth Amendment. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district shall have been previously ascertained by law and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witness against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witness in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. Now, there's also a lot in this amendment, but I'll make sure to break it down all for you. So for the Sixth Amendment, it gives you the right to have a speedy trial, have an impartial jury, which means the jury cannot be presidential against you or have a judgment against you prior to the trial, have the right to counsel, and you have the right to know what you're being accused of and your accusers. So one more time, right to a speedy trial, right for an impartial jury, right to counsel, and right to know what you're being accused of, as well as who is accusing you. At the bottom of the screen, there's a little cartoon. The Constitution guarantees you a speedy trial, so hold on tight. Now into the Seventh Amendment. It states, in suits at common law where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law. So if you are being sued, in order to have a trial by jury, it must be over $20. So if it is $20, you cannot have a trial by jury, and only a judge can try the case. And the $20 bill shows that you must go over the $20. You cannot go under. As I just said, if it is exactly $20, you cannot have a trial by jury. Only a judge can issue the case. Moving on to the Eighth Amendment. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. So a way to remember the Eighth Amendment is that you can put your hands next to you or next to each other as if they're in handcuffs, as this picture is right here. Remember, you're in handcuffs means no cruel, unusual punishments. And that's how you can remember the Eighth Amendment. Moving on to the Ninth Amendment. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. So the most important aspect of the Ninth Amendment is power to the people. The Ninth Amendment is people's rights. 10th Amendment states, the power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. So what that means is the 10th Amendment protects states' rights, while the 9th Amendment's people's rights, the 10th Amendment is states' rights. Now that's all the 10 amendments. I hope you guys all have a better understanding of it, and I would appreciate all of you to take a quiz. And that is all. All of you, I wish you good luck.